Welcome to the Assembling the Spreader segment of this VIG. Begin by placing the hopper assembly, Part 1, upside down on a smooth, level surface. Then remove the pre-assembled 1/4-inch nylock hex nuts, Part 16, and spacers from the inside surface of the hopper tubes as shown. Set aside the hex nuts but discard the spacers. Next, place the right-hand hitch support tube, Part 2, over the pre-installed bolt, as shown, and insert a 1/4 inch by 1 1/2 inch hex bolt, Part 12, through the holes in the hopper tube and right-hand hitch support tube, closest to the axle. Fasten the bolts with two 1/4 inch nylock hex nuts, but do not tighten them at this time. Now, repeat this step and attach the left-hand hitch support tube, Part 3. Your next step will be to press a tube plug, Part 25, into the round open end of the hitch tube, Part 5. Then place the hitch tube in between the left and right hitch support tubes and secure it in place using two 1/4 inch by 2 inch hex bolts, Part 56. Thread two 1/4 inch nylock hex nuts onto the bolts. Now tighten all the nuts and bolts assembled up to this point. Now it's time to attach the hitch bracket, Part 7, to the hitch tube. Do this by inserting two 5/16 inch by 1 1/4 inch hex bolts, Part 13, through the hitch bracket and the hitch tube. Secure them using 5/16 inch nylock hex nuts, Part 15. And now tighten the nuts. Insert the hitch pin, Part 9, through the large holes in the hitch bracket and the hitch tube, and secure it in place with the hair cotter pin, Part 19. Next, insert the control tube, Part 6, into the open end of the left-hand hopper support tube as shown. Thread the 5/16 inch lag screw, Part 57, with the 5/16 inch lock washer, Part 58. Insert the lag screw into the hole in the hopper support tube and tighten it. Then press tube plugs into the right-hand hopper support tube and the control tube, as shown. Attach the flow control lever to the control tube using a 1/4 inch by 1 1/2 inch hex bolt and a 1/4 inch lock nut, Part 17. Press the knob, Part 22, onto the end of the flow control lever, Part 23. Now tighten the lock nut, but leave it loose enough so that the lever can pivot. Next you'll attach the flow control assembly. Position the control assembly onto the control tube as shown, with the two bolts in the assembly going through the holes in the control tube. Secure the control assembly to the control tube using two 1/4 inch nylock hex nuts. If the bolts should spin while tightening the nuts, pull on the bolts and turn them until they lock into place. You can push in on the flow control dial to help keep the bolts locked into place while you tighten the nuts. Next, insert the end of the control cable, coming from the flow control assembly, into the hole in the control lever. Next up, we'll show you how to use your tow spreader.